Hello everyone and welcome back to Antique and Garden Showcase. Today is going to be part one of actually working on a showcase. I bought this piece maybe 2 years ago with the intentions of putting it in a retail space whenever I got one. And at the last place where I had retail, they wouldn't allow an extra showcase. So I had this in storage and it's unique. I'll show it to you and tell you a little bit more about it. This piece originated from an old country store, and I heard it was from Tennessee. I bought it locally here at an estate auction a couple of years ago, and it's an interesting showcase. It's not even 3 feet wide total. I think it's 33 inches this way, but the shelves are staggered inside, which I've never seen before like this. They kind of overlap one another. It has really nice iron brackets, and I'm going to just use it for a nice display case here in, I think, my home office. But you can tell the outside is in great shape. You know, there's not going to be much, just a little clean down and whatever else. But upon closer inspection, you can tell this shelf has been replaced with a plywood particle board. So has this one. These shelves look older, but I still think there's some sort of replacement. They've got some sort of like sticky paperish stuff on top of them. They look horrible. And when you really examine here, you can tell that they stick out much farther than the brackets do. So I have a plan. My uncle actually restored one of these showcases before, and he took the old wood shelves out and replaced them with glass. And I'm going to do the same thing. That way light will shine all the way through, and anything I put in there like art glass or porcelain or smalls or trinkets, you'll be able to see those all the way through. And if I get really creative, I may go around the inside of this and put an LED light strip that's hidden up underneath. That way it will light up the entire showcase. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the 4 shelves so I can take measurements for the glass company. So removing these shelves should be as easy as taking a screwdriver and just removing the hardware out from under right here and right here on each side. So I'm going to remove those. And I noticed too that these are actually graduated brackets. So the glass shelf up here will not be as deep as the one here, which has a lot more depth. And I think it will look more right, more accurate. And I can put smaller things on this shelf right here and then have a wider shelf in front. And then I think they kind of graduate in size as they go down. And then eventually, this has got that same nasty, I don't know what this paper stuff is on here, but by looking underneath, I can tell these shelves that look old on top are actually, they're newer and they've been covered with something. So I'm not removing anything here that I think is original. And even this bottom, you can see it kind of has a give to it. I've got some red oak in there, and I'm going to be taking this bottom completely out of this case and repairing it and replacing that too. For a case to be in such great shape on the outside, it's like the whole internal workings of this are just a complete mess. So shelf removal, number 1. So I just removed the screws from the first bracket up here, and I'm certainly glad I didn't put any load of anything heavy on these. I mean, they are tiny. I mean, probably 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. They're just barely hanging in there. And I mean, just the least little bit of pressure, you know, was not good on those. So the idea I have is going to be much better. Once this shelf comes out, then I'm going to put an aluminum bar across this, which the front of the glass will rest on, and it will be braced on the sides, and then the glass will just lay in. The shelves will lay in just like any other china cabinet. I think that's going to be so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and get this side taken out now. So with that first shelf gone, we can actually see what we're working with now. We've got nice, stable iron brackets that are mounted into the oak back here, which are going to be really solid to put that on. So all I will have to do is drill into the aluminum pieces I have and go from side to side and connect those. And then I'll put just a little piece of just a spacer of some kind in here, maybe a plexiglass or something. That's the depth between the aluminum and the glass, and put like a cushion tape in there and hold that, and then the shelves will just be slide in. So I'm doing this today. I'm trying to get these out so I can take measurements for the glass company. I'm thinking about going over. I have to get my glass in another town just because of there's a really good place over there, and it's a fraction of the cost of what you can buy it for in this town. So trying to get this done so I can get that glass order placed today for a pickup next week. So I've gotten 3 of the 4 shelves removed, and the back 2 pretty easy to get to. The front 2 were those ones that have been replaced, and they had those wedged in there so bad that I had to literally almost had to break the shelves out to get them out of there, because you couldn't get into where they had used the interior screw hole instead of the outer side here that was easily accessed. Now I noticed there's some wobbling of these brackets too. I'm going to have to do some work here to get those shored up a little bit. Looks like there may have been some replacement work done here. So now with all the shelves removed, I'm going to try to get some measurements for each of the brackets. And it looks like the 2 front brackets are the same. I'll measure those to make sure. This one might be slightly different, and then this one's smaller. Now, I did determine none of those shelves were original, and even the screws were aluminum, which were fairly new, and they're not even wood screws. Those are machine screws, most likely for aluminum or metal, and I don't know how they were even holding anything in there. In fact, some of these I actually just flipped the shelf up, broke it off, and just let it drop. It's easier than trying to get in there. So my next mission is to take measurements of these. Now, to better explain what I'm doing here, this is the aluminum bar that I'm looking at. It's a 90-degree bar. They're going to set, for instance, this top bracket, it's going to sit in the front to create a barrier for the glass. So if you see the bracket here, this will be screwed. There will be a hole drilled here, be screwed into this, and it will create almost a cradle for the piece of glass going this way. Same will happen here, same will happen here, same will happen here. So I've got 4 of these aluminum pieces that I'm going to drill and cut off to fit these brackets. But I'm going to go ahead and measure. I don't think there's any weird thing that's going to happen with measurements. I've got to get that glass order in. So that's where I'm going to wrap this up, because I don't have any more things that I can do to this today until I get that glass in and get these cut and drilled to fit into the brackets here. So let's take a look at a couple of things in the yard now. Spring is on the way here, and some of the old daffodils that I planted, the top 100 a few years ago, decided to come back. And I started cleaning out this bed from weeds the other night. I have not gotten to the old dead plant matter yet. I've got to get in there and clean all that out. I've got to restake the blues, and I had early on a gopher issue right there that I've gotten taken care of, but I've got to fix the bed back there. So just a lot of cleanup and repair here, but there are some pretty colors coming out, and that's always good to see this time of year. Same with the up here. I've got to get in there and do some work and get the old cabbages out of the formal garden there. You can tell the yard is really already growing a bit, so it's not going to be long that I'm going to be out here with a lawnmower, and I've got to do lawnmower maintenance and all that to get ready for the spring season, which is right here upon us very, very soon. Thank you for watching Antique and Garden Showcase. This is part 1 of the showcase renovation. I'm redoing this interior of the old showcase that I purchased, and pretty soon I'll have more about that and what it looks like with the glass shelves as soon as I can get those cut and get some of the installation pieces ready to go in there. I'll take you along for that ride. So part 1, there will be a part 2 coming up soon. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.